Good evening. Welcome to the council meeting of December 19th, the last meeting of the year. Let's call to order. Anyone out in the audience needs amplifying headphones, please raise your hand. You're good. Okay. All right. I'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody please rise. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Donna, will you do a roll call, please?
I will. Councilmember Bode.
Here.
Councilmember Sherman. Here. Councilmember Gutierrez.
Here.
Mayor Nesco.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Schmidt.
Here.
Councilmember McDowell. Present. And Councilmember Peterson. Here.
Thank you, Donna.
You're welcome.
Does council have any late changes to the agenda? Council have any board reports to share? No?
Well, I have something to share real quick.
Okay.
Some of us went down to Longview yesterday and visited the pallet. What do you call it?
Ballot shelter, yes.
Pallet shelter. Totally different than what I thought it was. I was very impressed. Something that we're looking at for the city of Shelton. And it was just totally different. So thank you, Mark, for dragging us down there and letting us see what was going on, and very well organized, very clean. Yeah. I've been there about a year and it just looks great. I got to talk to one of the ladies that lived there, and she loves it there. She's been there a year and she feels safe. She said she did not feel safe on the streets, but she feels safe there. So that's the roof over their head and safety is two important things for the individuals that live there. So anyway, that's my idea on it for the
Right.
city.
Any other board reports to share? I like to take this opportunity to say goodbye and to thank three council members that are leaving us. This is their last meeting. I've learned a lot from all three of you, different things, and thank you, Deidre and Kathy and James for your service for 4 years and 8 years for Kathy. And we got little certificates for you guys. And then afterwards, we're gonna have some cupcakes. Thank you, sir. Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you. 7 layers. All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
No handshake. I'll give James a handshake.
Thank you. very much.
Does any of the council would like to address them and would like to address us?
I just wanted to say for the past 2 years, thank you for welcoming me to the commission, to the board of our city council. And I've learned from each and every one of you. And we've had really good conversations, and we've nonpartisanly done the best for our city. And I think that when we dropped that, and we got a lot done. So thank you very much for your service, and it is a really hard job. And thank you for caring enough to run and to put your efforts into it. Thank you so much.
I want to thank the council. We work real well together, I believe. We've had our negative, our thoughts of different things the way we wanted it, but we all seem to come together and make a decent decision. It's been 8 years and that's a long time, but I've enjoyed every minute of it. Some of the minutes I haven't enjoyed, but the majority of them I have, and I'm thankful for the people in the city, in the administration, in this building that I've gotten to personally know. Thank you very much.
Anyone else?
I've learned a lot from everyone here, so thank you so much for everything and your time and your guidance. Because the first year when you're doing this, if you've never done anything in government before, you have no idea what's going on. And so by sitting here and watching people who've been here for a while and listening, it helps you understand what's going on. And so your first year, you're not making real decisions. You're learning, you're absorbing, and I appreciate all of you for giving us that opportunity to learn from you.
Thank you.
All right. City manager, you have any comments?
I'll save those for manager report,
All
if
right,
you don't mind.
okay. Well, then moving on. Has anyone reviewed the items on our consent agenda? May we have a motion?
I move that we accept the consent agenda as published.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as published. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Our next is a presentation from Finance Director Mike Gibbons.
Thank you, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and members of council. We have the October monthly financial report to present tonight, and I just want to say that, you know, we've come a long ways with our finances, particularly in the general fund from where we were looking at this about 10 months ago. We've done a lot of hard work, and you'll see some of the changes. You know, we have the benefit of really being able to see where we're at more clearly at this point in the fiscal year. So even though we're presenting or preparing this for the month of October, we're doing so in late November. And so we have the benefit of really looking at our revenues and knowing where our expenditures are, which helps us a lot with this forecast. So the October report puts us at 83% of the fiscal year. In other words, if everything were even, our revenue would be at 83% received, our expenditures would be at 83%. We know that's not how everything lays out. Some things we can look at that way, but certainly not everything. On this page, under our 2023 estimated actual, I just want to pause for a minute and have you look at that revenue and expenditure, because that's one of the biggest things for this general fund report, where the revenue is exceeding the expenditures. And that's due to a lot of hard work. And as we've mentioned in a staff presentation earlier today, it didn't come certainly without some pain, because we reduced staff, we eliminated some positions. We've worked really hard to bring this in line, because that's with no new revenue this year. But that's something that I just want to commend all city staff for, and certainly you as the council for supporting us in getting this right-sized. On page 2 of the report, it's a breakdown of our revenue categories, and it provides a nice overview of the general fund sources and where we're anticipating ending the year. Again, we can look at this and we have good data, because we're looking not only at the month of October for that estimate on the actual, but we can look into November a bit and see where we're at. So property tax is right where we want to see it. It's under by $55,000, but we set this budget amount slightly over the levy so that we can collect prior year unpaid taxes and that. So we want to be close. There's kind of a sweet spot of where you want that to be. That's right about where we want it. Sales and use tax. I don't know if you remember, but back last spring, we were down pretty considerably 1 month. Things are over, you know, it's over just slightly, but I'm pleased with where that is. I think that it's not only good for the city, but it's good for businesses in our city, because it shows that spending's happening with the economy at the pace that we anticipated. You know, we've acknowledged that inflation's driving prices a bit higher, but to see that where it is shows that the economy isn't changing much. Things are strong. I wanted to point out that the line where you see charges for goods and services, that line can be a little bit elusive because it's not super well defined with that description. It's a broad range. It encompasses revenue from the park district, from recreation and activity fees, plan review, inspection fees, and our interfund charges for indirect cost recovery. You'll notice that it's over. Part of that over budget amount is because we missed billing SMPD, the park district, for one bill last year that we realized this year, so that's part of it. But we've also had some plan and development review fees that were over budget as I looked into the detail of that. And so that's why that line is, well, you know, rather considerably for our budget, almost $250,000 over. So some of the other areas that are down, we've talked about before, but that's what that is. On page 5, just briefly, the comparison of general fund revenues and expenditures shows where we're at in the month of October compared to those prior fiscal years there at the top and for revenue and at the bottom for expenditures. I like to look at that simply because it shows kind of where on the revenue side we're increasing, you know, that property tax amount, it goes up 1%, doesn't increase a whole lot, but you can see where that pace is. The same with sales tax and some of the others. And then on our expenditures for October of 2023, compared to those prior years, you can take a look and see where some of the reductions happened and where some of our savings that we're realizing through just really tightening our belt and watching the how we're spending in the general fund to make sure that we come out or came out to where we're at this year. On page 7, again, as I pointed out last month, this represents our estimated fund balances across all funds. So the proprietary funds, the general fund and everything. What we want to see on that column for the estimated fund balance is a positive number. It's a good thing. All of those are positive. Some of the changes between beginning fund and ending fund are certainly going down. That's a result in some of the particularly the capital funds that we're doing work, we're spending money. That's what you want to see, that change in fund balance sometimes because we're doing our job and getting the work done. But overall, I think we can be pleased with where we're seeing the estimated fund balances. Those, of course, include the council's reserve policy as part of that. At the bottom of page 7, we're providing an update on FTE as we do every month now. On the general fund, there was a 1.0 increased vacancy in the general fund from the prior month, and that's the vacant administrative services director position. Open general fund positions stand at 7.0 FTE and the other funds at 4. So that's giving a citywide across all funds total vacancy of 11 FTE. So some of those positions, as we know, are being redefined or changed or eliminated as you adopted the 2024 budget. So we also have the benefit now of being able to look forward into what we're expecting in 2024. But all things considered, I'm pleased with where our finances are winding up the year, and we'll certainly spend a little bit more time with the financial reports for November and particularly December and the beginning of next year to take a look at how we ended up 2023. We're certainly, you know, processing pretty good sized accounts payable runs right now to get some projects paid out and things processed that we want to realize in this fiscal year, because the budget, of course, for our purposes, once that year turns, we leave a brief open period, but then it goes into the 2024 fiscal year. So that's the report. I'm happy to answer any questions you.
Can you remind me why we budget our detention and corrections contract under the city manager?
I think that's just historically been where it is, as opposed to maybe being in police.
Yeah.
We could certainly look at moving that if that's something where council wanted it. I think we also have some of the public defense contracts in there.
All legal is
So I
under the
think
city
it's
manager's
been
budget.
associated with that.
Mhm.
I don't think there's, as far as I know, there's no reason that we have to prescribe from, say, the state auditor, but it certainly keeps it separate from police a bit.
Yeah, I think about what it costs to run a police department,
Sure,
right? Or what it costs to do public safety. Right, and
Right.
so I would assume we would pull that if we did that analysis, but I just wanted to ask the question.
I mean, it's a good point because the costs associated with that aren't directly from the city manager's office, certainly.
City manager's not administering the contract, correct? The police department is.
Well. And with help from municipal court, absolutely. The day-to-day operation administration of that contract, we have a great assistance from. The court administrator as well, and particularly in reviewing the billings
Right.
that come directly over, because they know who's in custody and who's not in custody, so there's some reconciliation there within municipal court. More so than police department, actually.
I'll talk with the city manager and we can look at it if we want to show that in a different way. We certainly can. There's no reason why we can't. It's not going to change the overall.
Yeah, I certainly understand, the
Public
impetus of the
safety,
question.
yeah, the bulk
Right.
of public safety
Makes
dollars
sense.
are kind of spread amongst the general fund.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's sometimes difficult to articulate what it actually costs.
Absolutely.
It's that way, so.
Yeah.
Perhaps like an org structure where we have something for public safety, which would cover community court,
Mhm.
PD, et cetera, but not anything needs to be changed at the moment, just wanted to bring that, sorry.
Not at all, yeah.
Go ahead.
All right, any other questions? Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Right,
Mr.
Now-
Mayor, if you don't mind, I'm gonna interrupt one
Oh,
second.
sure.
I do have a change to the agenda.
Oh.
I would like to have the council consider. We have a new item under F, the action agenda. Number 7 is ordinance 2018-1223. This is in regards to the appeals of hearing examiner decisions that we talked about in the study session last week. Director Hill would like to present that remotely tonight, and that would be considered by council. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
all right. You threw me. Okay, now. Parks
Sorry
and-
for the.
Parks and Rec, Jordan Crumples has information for about the Arts Commission.
Thank you, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and members of council. Tonight, I bring to you reappointments for the Arts Commission. We had 3 openings, or would have 3 openings as of the end of this year. And the 3 that are wanting to re-up are wanting to move forward with that. Eleanor Lindquist, Amy Cooper, and Larry Harbaugh would be the ones that are wanting to re-up. Amy and Eleanor have already done full terms before previously. Larry came on with us midway this year, so now would start a full term of 4 years with us. So just looking to move this forward. Any questions?
All right, Donna, anyone set up a public comment?
No, they haven't, Mr. Mayor.
All right, anyone in the audience like to speak on these appointments? All right, do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to forward the appointments of the renewal of the Arts Commission openings to the January 2nd, 2024 action agenda for further consideration.
Second.
All right, comments or questions? Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you.
We have a motion and a second to forward the appointments for renewal of the Arts Commission openings to January 2nd, 2024 action agenda for further consideration. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Our next business item is a resolution for cybersecurity grant acceptance. IT System Administrator Max Franklin has details.
Mayor, Deputy Mayor, council members, I'm here to present a grant acceptance for a state and local cybersecurity grant program we applied for back in August. Essentially, we had our project approved and we will be reimbursed up to $16,693, or essentially 90% of the project cost. The goal for this would be to get a cybersecurity risk assessment done on our network and our infrastructure. With the goal to come out of it with information of vulnerabilities and areas that we need to improve and implement more, just more security, and try to shore up our security footprint. So, yeah, that's what I can.
Right, all right. Don, anyone set up public comment?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone like to speak? All right, do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to place resolution number 1304-1123 on the January 2nd, 2024 council action agenda for further consideration.
Second.
All right, comments or questions? Thank you, Max, for tackling this. You can never have too much security and this day and age, I mean, every day you're getting a phone call on your phone saying, hey, you won the lottery, come give me $1,000 and I'll give you a big check.
Right.
But he makes sure we don't do that because we have a little test we have to take all the time. Thanks a lot, by the way.
Yeah, you showed us. Yeah,
No before, right?
yeah.
All right.
I want to thank Max for being proactive in this field, in this realm. This is really important to the security of the entire city. You know, with the services we offer and the data that we collect, it's really important we protect that from those that want to, you know, breach our firewalls and our systems. So this will give us a better, I guess, analysis of where we lie in that and ensure that some of the measures that Max has brought to the city of Shelton are continuing to move forward and keep us secure.
Do we do this with MaceCom? By chance?
No, this
They
is,
were in scope.
yeah, their IP address network won't be touched unless they want to get involved.
Who does the audit?
So we're,
SAO.
no, actually, this will be a third-party vendor. Critical Insight is who we are looking at to get the assessment performed. They're pretty well known in the industry for doing that type of thing. We already have the contracts pushed forward, so we're looking at moving forward with them.
We just started the entrance conference for 3-year accountability audit at MaceCom this morning. One of the big components of it is cybersecurity.
Yeah.
And anytime we have a cyber incident, it's required to be reported to the SAO.
That's new. It's new.
Yeah, so I guess my only thing would be to engage SAO at some point, maybe. In this process, I know how much fun that probably would be, but having some experience with this and the costs that are involved in the PII related leak or something like that, that would kill us. And in some cases, insurance is gonna cover it if we haven't been doing the right thing along the way. Like if you haven't been taking your no before tests.
Right. So all of that's part of trying to be,
Yep.
you know, meet those cybersecurity insurance
Yeah.
requirements, this being one of them. I don't remember the last time that had happened within this network, but yeah, all things to really help us move forward. So
Great.
I just recently watched a news report that government agencies they try to attack them hundreds of times a day, every day. It's just constant, so it's very important. All right. We have a motion, a second to place resolution number 13041123 on the January 2nd, 2024 council action agenda item. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right, now it's Aaron's turn. He has information for us about Angleside Reservoir capacity upgrades.
Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Council, City Manager, thank you for letting me be here. Many of the projects that I'm going to be bringing forward to you guys, a lot of them are grant related. This is one of those projects. I'm sure the council is aware of some of our water pressure and dead storage issues. This project is really central, of which we've been awarded $1.8 million to address some of those issues, at least take the initial stab. BHC is the consultant. We basically are utilizing them all off of our on-call roster, with the intent that there's going to be some piping improvements as well as some electrical improvements in our booster pump stations as well as our well sites to attack the pressure as well as the fire flow and the dead storage issue. So what I have before you is obviously information at this point, but this will be covered under the grant. Some design, this basically takes us from initial concept all the way to final design, final construction and buy off. That's why the number's a little bit higher. But again, this is going to be covered under the grant with the intent that we're going to try to construct something this summer with these monies. So basically it outlines, it identifies the geotechnical work that we need to do, the surveying work, as well as the civil engineering work that we need to do, again, covered under the grant at this point. So if there's any questions, we obviously will be bringing this forward again, but again, to address some of those water related issues that are candidly our top priority. at this point. So
All right, Donna, anyone have public comment?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone like to speak? Do we have a motion?
I move to place resolution number 1306-1223 onto the council's action agenda for the January 2nd meeting for additional consideration.
Second.
All right, comments or questions? This is a project that's has to do with our water flow and storage issues that could possibly stop us from building homes, correct?
potentially, yes,
So
sir.
this is something that is the beginning of a long project. Not only this, we'll be looking at some storage here in the future as
Yeah.
well.
Looking to place some more reservoirs
Yeah.
to help deal with that issue. And candidly, you guys, that gets really expensive really fast. So trying to do that due diligence to get this addressed and help us. We have been in contact and have been talking with DOH with regard to our issues. I think we have a very positive direction.
This is, and these funds are from the Director of Appropriation last year. Our state delegation assisted us with, we obviously, or not obviously, but we did ask for more funds to pursue a new reservoir and the entire, to kind of redo, essentially rebuild that entire Ingleside pressure zone. We're fortunate enough to get $1.8 million to put into a fix that has been identified by our engineering staff and our engineering consultants that gets us kind of, the first, if not first and second steps to increasing the storage capacity so we can meet fire flow and IFC standards, but also provide water capacity to residential construction on the south side of town. So these are some improvements, and they're not improvements that won't be utilized moving forward as well. This is an investment, kind of the baseline that will continue to be utilized as this pressure zone, maybe a new reservoir, and other upgrades are made in the future too, so that they're not just a one-off and it won't be used in the future. These will continue to be utilized as that pressure zone's redeveloped and built out.
Any other comments or questions?
So water is life and we need to protect it and make sure there's a food supply for us here in the city. So thank you so much for your work.
All right,
I guess, the only other comment on this is, $356,000 in construction management services. This is just another kind of plug for general fund resources. We could do these things in-house if we had staffing to do it. But when we don't, that's what it costs. Performance of the grant is key in ensuring the project gets delivered for the requirements of the grant. We have one deep staff in a lot of places to do this, and managing multiple projects, it's just not necessarily possible. So totally necessary. I wish we had more depth in the staff to handle it in-house, but I get
Thank
it.
you. I think you'll see some head nods out here.
Yep.
Yeah, just for council's information, we have advertised actually 2 positions within the engineering department, although we have 1 to fill. Just trying to kind of find the possibility of a fit there, 1 for a city engineer, 1 for a development review specialist. Remember the exact title, yeah, supervisor, and essentially no applications at this point. It's a really tough field within civil engineering. So as Councilmember Schmidt just mentioned, in order to meet the needs of our community, meet the criteria that these grants have placed on us, we have to go look for outside services, and those outside services are taxed at this point too. We're lucky enough to have some consultants that are willing to work for us. They're tight. The timelines aren't what necessarily we want, but we're pushing them and asking them to service the best of their abilities so we can put the money into the ground, if you will.
right. Okay, we have a motion and a second to place resolution number 1306-1223 on the council action agenda on January 2nd, 2024. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Oh, Mike's back up again. He has information about 2023 budget supplemental.
Thank you. I promise this is it for the budget tonight, but the 2023 supplemental budget, it's our second supplemental. It serves largely, as I went into detail last time, to clean up some of our funds, deobligate some for projects that aren't happening. There have been no changes since the last presentation.
All right, Donna, anyone have public comment?
No, we don't, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone like to speak? We have a reading of ordinance number 2015-1023.
Ordinance number 2015-1023. An ordinance of the city of Shelton, Washington, amending the annual budget for the year ending December 31st, 2023.
Thank you, Donna. Do we have a motion?
I move to adopt ordinance number 2015-1023 as presented.
Second.
All right, comments or questions? Thank you. We have a motion, and a second to adopt ordinance number 2015-1023 as presented. All in favor, say aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion carries. We have an ordinance related to a low-impact development principal and facilities, Public Works Stormwater Technician Kenny Oberg has details.
Good evening, council, mayor and deputy mayor. I brought to you on the last regular meeting, the low impact development code changes and additions. And again, to reiterate that it is to make low impact development for new development sites and even in some cases redevelopment sites, the preferred and commonly used approach. And that basically attacks the stormwater pollution that is caused by existing development that needs to be retrofitted before it even happens. So it's a preventative correction, if you will. Nothing has changed since the previous presentation.
All right. Donna, anyone's had a public comment?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone like to speak? Right. We have a reading of ordinance number 2017-1123.
Ordinance number 2017-1123. An ordinance of the city of Shelton, Washington, amending the Shelton Municipal Code related to low impact development principles and facilities.
Thank you, Donna. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt ordinance number 2017-1123 as presented.
Sick,
All right, comments or questions?
just comment, thank you for what you're doing to get the stormwater program off the ground. It's great.
Thank you.
And comment on just, yes, thank you for not just bringing the water, but keeping it clean for all us and for all the creatures in the ocean.
All right, we have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance number 2017-1123 as presented. All in favor, say aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, Kenny is not leaving, so he must be up again. And oh, he is. Oh, you're supposed to make it fun. Keep up the good work. Yes, sir.
Okay. Also on the last regular council meeting, I presented the acceptance of an ecology grant. This is the stormwater capacity grant, it's a biennial grant. They have updated the dollar amount for us for this biennium to 130,000. That grant is retroactive and it actually it's any expenditures that will be covered under the grant can actually be backdated to July 1st of this year. So that grant itself helps us out in many ways. For paying Mason Conservation District for the public education outreach for our stormwater permit requirements, and that one aspect of the permit, it can go to capital improvements and also equipment directly related to stormwater. For instance, a portion of the camera van for the storm department was utilized that fund. So looking to re-accept the next biennium this grant. It's a non-city match grant. That's the best part.
Right, thank you. Donna, any type of public comment?
No, we don't, Mr. Mayor.
Does anyone want to speak? We have a reading of resolution number 1302-1123.
Resolution number 1302-1123. A resolution of the city of Shelton, Washington, accepting a stormwater capacity grant from the Department of Ecology and authorizing the city manager to sign the funding agreement and other related documents as needed.
Thank you, Donna. Do I have a motion?
staff recommends a motion. I move to adopt resolution number 1302-1123 as presented.
All right, comments or questions?
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor?
Yes,
Who?
Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, thank you.
sorry about that. Comments or questions? All right. We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 1302-1123 as presented. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, we're back to project manager Aaron Nix. Has information for us about well one project.
Thank you, guys. Again, I appreciate that. We've discussed this at your last council meeting. This is with regard to the well one pressurization project, of which we have a pre-con scheduled for January 9th. Expect construction shortly after that. Moving forward, I'm not going to great detail because we discussed this before, but basically this is construction management services that Gray Osborne will provide. As this is one of my first projects, I'm really going to shadow and oversee kind of that component of it so that, like you discussed in the future, us potentially taking that on, depending on requirements and those kinds of things, just to kind of not scrutinize, but just be there and observe and make sure that what's being said is being assessed, those types of things. So with that, if there's any questions, you guys, please feel free. Again, pre-con on the 9th with construction shortly thereafter and we'll be done probably early summer, I suspect.
All right, Donna, anyone have public comment?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone like to speak? May I have a reading of resolution number 1301-1123?
Resolution number 1301-1123. A resolution of the Council of the City of Shelton, Washington, authorizing the city manager to approve supplemental agreement number 4 to the professional services agreement with Gray Osborne Incorporated titled Well One Pipeline Pressurization Project.
Thank you, Donna. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve resolution number 1301-1123 as presented.
Second.
All right, comments or questions? All right, we have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 1301-1123 as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is a contract for city prosecution services, and our city manager will give that.
Thank you, Mayor. So today I'm bringing to you a contract with Gunderson Law Firm for contract prosecutorial services for the Shelton Municipal Court. No changes have been made since the briefing on December 5th. Your approval of the contract, we'll execute that most likely tomorrow or this week, and Mr. Gunderson would start service on January 1, 2024.
Thank you, Mark. Donna, anyone set up for public comment?
No, we don't, Mr. Mayor.
Would anyone like to speak? Still absent to say that. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the contract with Gunderson Law Firm for prosecutorial service and authorize the city manager to sign on behalf of the city.
Second,
All right, comments or questions?
I just wanted to thank Mark for, and the judge who's here, for working with these folks and for getting the really good deal.
All right. Thank you. Any other comments, questions? We have a motion and a second to approve the contract with Gunderson Law Firm for prosecutorial services and authorize city manager to sign on behalf of the city. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mark has another item. Public defense grant acceptance.
Yes, Mr. Mayor again. The city received notice from the Office of Public Defense that we received a 2-year grant, $39,000 in 24 and $39,000 in 25 to offset costs for indigent public defense at the municipal court. I really want to thank Court Administrator Diane Smolenski, Judge Greer, and the staff down there for getting this grant completed and submitted on time and accurately, so we could receive these funds to help offset these costs to the city of Shelton.
All right. Donna, anyone have a public comment?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Would anyone like to speak? Jordan's gonna kill me tonight. We were reading the resolution number 1303-1123.
Resolution number 1303-1123. a resolution of the city of Shelton, Washington, accepting a grant from the Washington State Department of Public Defense and authorizing the city manager to sign the funding agreement and other related documents as needed.
Thank you, Donna. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve resolution number 1303-1123 as presented.
Comments or questions?
Second.
Oh, sorry, comments or
Thank you.
questions? All right, we have motion and second to approve resolution number 1303-1123 as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Our last action item is an ordinance regarding appeals from hearing examiner decision. Community Economic Development Director Jay Hill has details, but I'm assuming it's gonna be, oh no, he's online.
He's online, yeah.
There you go.
That's right, you did say
Hey.
that, didn't you? Has details for us. Good evening, Jay.
Hi there. I am staying home so I don't get anybody ill. Hope that's appreciated. But anyway, I'll begin. Thank you, Mayor and Deputy Mayor. So this is ordinance 2018-1223. This goes back to the briefing last week at the study session where we talked about we had discovered there were some inconsistencies with how appeals were identified throughout our code. Some of appeals of hearings examiner decisions went to city council, some went to Superior Court, inconsistent review timelines, inconsistent review procedures, et cetera. So we very quickly prepared an ordinance to address these issues, just so we have very clear and streamlined and consistent processes for all applicants and all appellants coming forward. We have a couple of large subdivisions, conditional use permits, et cetera. And these land use decisions all deserve to be treated exactly the same, and council's expectations of how they should be approved or reviewed or appealed should be consistent as well. So we may still have more work to do in these sections. These were sections that we identified, and we noted that there are other sections of the code that also need some cleanup. We'll probably be back next year with an ordinance to address the rest of them, but this was the really important ones that we identified first. Again, streamlining, consistency, and it's very uncommon for city councils to be the review and appeal authority for hearings examiner decisions, or any decisions, administrative or quasi-judicial. So this is just kind of becoming more consistent with practices across the state. So that being said, happy to answer any questions about this ordinance and recommend its approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Donna, anyone set up public comment?
No, we don't, Mr.
Would
Mayor.
anyone like to speak? We have a reading of ordinance number 2018-1223.
Ordinance number 2018-1223. An ordinance of the city of Shelton, Washington, amending chapters 2.36 and sections 20.44.040, 20.50.040, and 21.64.090, and repealing sections 19.34.060 and 20.50.050 of the Shelton Municipal Code relating to appeals of land use decisions.
Wow, thank you, Donna. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve ordinance number 2018-1223 as presented.
And waive the reading.
Three touch rule.
Second.
All right, comments or questions?
I just wanted to say that we should not, as a legislative body, we should keep the powers of government separate, and this should be more judicial and quasi-judicial. So I think this is a good decision.
We have a motion and a second to approve ordinance number 2018-1123 and to waive the three-touch rule. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Mark, do you have city manager report
Yeah,
tonight?
good things tonight. Thank you. I appreciate the council taking action on that tonight. As was demonstrated last week in our study session, the issues that may bring up to the council, and moving forward, I think that we have a clear process. We obviously have some more cleanup to do, but this gets us in the right direction for these quasi judicial processes moving forward. I appreciate the discussion about the National Property Maintenance Code and height limits last week as well. Staff will continue providing information to council to answer the questions you had following up the study session last week. You got copies of the National Property Maintenance Code, the IPMC, if you will. to review, and please provide any comments, questions as you work through that. We'll develop another study session in 2024 to further address the IPMC as well as the height limit discussion. We'll be coming back to council. I think we got clear and consensus from council on where to move with that. So I appreciate your efforts there. As Councilmember McDowell mentioned, Councilmember Gutierrez, Sherman, and McDowell and myself visited Hope Village in Longview on Monday. I think it was a worthwhile trip to see what kind of facility Canby and is offered in a community like that. They're bigger than us, obviously, a little over 30,000 people, but contracting with the Salvation Army to provide what can be referred to as a navigation or mitigation site. They refer to it more as transitional housing site, but very impressive what they've been able to accomplish down there for their homeless communities. We continue to work with our subcommittee as well as local service providers to find opportunities to find solutions in our community. We have released a press release for formulation of a comp plan steering committee. So we're seeking 5 members from the general public that would be interested in serving on this comp plan steering committee. So maybe council members that have free Tuesday nights moving forward would be interested in doing something like that. No, but so we're looking for a broad spectrum of our community. We want to represent, any and all demographics, including maybe some younger folks that would like to be engaged in this process. I call it our roadmap, the city's roadmap, if you will, but it incorporates how the city is going to develop and move forward, and land use processes. It incorporates our comprehensive plans for sewer and parks and stormwater as well. So really important process. Will be a little over a year to complete, but again, it's our guiding document. It's what sets the tone for the city of Shelton moving forward. We'll certainly be utilizing previous efforts like the 2015 downtown visioning plan and incorporating those as appropriate, so we don't lose those efforts that were put into the community previously. We've heard that oftentimes, that this is just going to be another plan that sits on the shelf. Well, no, it's not going to be another plan that sits on the shelf. And we're going to take these other plans and actually incorporate those as appropriate too. So we make sure these are documents that live on or that are incorporated in this comprehensive plan. We have another opportunity on the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee to serve a term there to assist our Parks and Recreation Department and guiding staff and guiding council and decisions there. So we're taking applications or letters of interest for that as well. This morning, I think the mayor mentioned Jordan Tracknam. She's probably a little delirious, but she was in, I think, before 5:30 this morning, starting our employee appreciation breakfast and putting a lot of work. We have a great wellness committee within the city that puts a lot of effort into activities and events here for our employees, as well as other staff that, dedicate their time. So we had breakfast in here this morning, gave out some awards. The first annual Shelties were given away today. So had some fun with that, recognized the unique folks that we have working for us, as well as employees of the year. And happy to announce that Jason Dose was nominated and approved as employee of the year at the city of Shelton. And then the first time we've created a supervisor of the year as well. So Leandra Sharp was nominated and appointed supervisor of the year this morning as well, in a fairly informal ceremony, but it was a lot of fun.
Did you think of all those yourself?
Pardon me?
Did you think of all those awards, the Shelty Awards?
We had some help from staff.
Those were great.
Yeah. We had some. There's other staff that helped out as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Appreciate it. Again, wellness committee making some decisions. There were a lot of nominations. There were nominations made by peers throughout the city. So if you will, you were the Guy Fieri Award, if you will. So if you're the foodie of the organization. So we were able to recognize individuals that had maybe unique interests or talents as well. Maybe not such a clean office, or maybe really clean office, things like that. So a bit of fun this morning, but a long day, right, Jordan? Happy to announce the Mason County Historical Society has received a grant of $3,000. They're going to put that into the building to assist with some maintenance and upkeep on the building. Also, I put some restoration on the old windows down there. So working with the Historical Society here to get some of that work done. So we really appreciate the partnership with them and their interest in preserving the city's structure down on Railroad. The last thing, I guess, is just the three council members. We know that public service is a selfless act, right? We do that because love for our community and interest in providing the services that in the community that we live in. It's often thankless. I know we've been thanked sometimes, but often you don't always receive those. So tonight I want to thank you for the time, the effort that you put in here at the city for the last 4 years. I know that you're not going away. You're individuals that are dedicated to this community as well. And so just serving on council doesn't necessarily mean that you're riding off in the sunset. You're here and you've got your roots set here. So I'm going to appreciate the relationship that we built in my time serving under you as city manager and beforehand as department head and whatever other duties that have been assigned over time. And thank you for the opportunity that you provided me. On behalf of our staff, I think we've built a great working relationship between staff and council. We really appreciate the open and honest dialogue that we've received, particularly in the study session format. I think it's made these meetings function a lot more efficiently, if you will, because we're hopefully providing you the information that you need to make the decisions moving forward in the best interest of the community. So I want to keep that open dialogue moving forward. So we'll have an opportunity here in a few minutes to go into executive session and hear about how we can continue to provide that. I can continue to provide that and serve the council moving forward to the best of my abilities and meet the goals and expectations of the council. So again, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Any other comments or questions for the city manager?
Oh, could I reiterate my gratefulness and my gratitude, my thanks to the whole staff. Also to note Judge Greer and how the Shelton Court is considered a nice court to be in. And I witnessed it personally, and so is Councilmember McDowell. We watched Judge Greer work in the court system and thought, wow, this is a really worthwhile program that the judge is running, and he's got just so many things set up that little things that make Shelton Court special in this whole area. So also each and every individual employee of the city who takes that hometown discount to stay in Shelton and work in Shelton is much appreciated, and you're all superstars, and thank you so much for working for this community and in this community.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, at this time, public are invited to make public comment on any topic that's not listed on the agenda. Donna, anyone send a public comment?
Yes, we have Mary Eagleson.
I'm loud. So wait, council members, mayor pro tem. A lot of people may not realize who are watching tonight that this is going to be new faces starting next year. And as a citizen of this town, I want to thank all of you, but there's 3 of you. James, thank you for taking the time to be on city council and help the city, even running a business. Adra, same to you. Work hard for you and you work hard for the chamber. Thank you very much. Kathy McDowell, my friend. 8 years. People don't understand the dedication and the time that it takes to be on city council and devote 8 years of service to this town and to the city council and the assembly before the city council. So thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome. It's been a
Thank you
pleasure.
Very, very much. It's a lot of hard work. To all of you, thank you also for the rest of you that will still be here. We're watching. All right, thank you for your time and for all you've done for the city. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else sign up for public comment?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we have one person on Zoom, and that is Colleen Carmichael.
Good evening, Mayor Inesco, Deputy Mayor Schmidt, and fellow council members. My name is Colleen Carmichael. I'm the Executive Director of Quixote Communities. Suicide is a serious public health issue in the United States. Between 2000 and 2021, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention reported that suicide rates increased by nearly 40%, and suicide was responsible for close to 50,000 deaths, one death every 11 minutes. In 2021, suicide was among the top 9 leading causes of death for peoples aged 10 to 64, and the second leading cause of death for peoples aged 10 to 14 and 20 to 34. By raising awareness, reducing stigmas about suicide, and encouraging hope through action, we can help reduce suicide rates and suicidal attempts. There are several common myths associated with suicide. A person must have a mental illness to die by suicide. Only trained professionals can help people experiencing suicidal thoughts. Talking about suicide increases the chances that a person may act on it. People who talk about suicide are just seeking attention. Suicide occurs without warning. People who take their own lives are selfish. Suicides can't be prevented. When a person is suffering in silence, they need to know that there are alternative solutions. Resources can help individuals understand that they are not alone. Each of us can help prevent suicide by fostering a sense of connection, checking in with friends and family, creating a space of laughter, honoring each other on a day-to-day basis, creating a safe environment, and promoting healthy connections. If you see someone suffering or notice a change in a person's demeanor or appearance, reach out and ask if they need help. Resources that are available to help people in need are Cedars-Sinai Community Resource, CDC Suicide Prevention Resources, Lifeline, which you can call or text 988, or by emailing 988lifeline.org, Suicide Prevention Resource Center, and the Trevor Project. I bring this to your attention tonight because I lost my oldest brother to suicide in December of 2002. My hope is that providing resources and information, no one will have to suffer a loss like this in their lifetime. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else signed up, Donna?
No one else, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone in the audience like to speak? All right. The council will now adjourn to an executive session to review the performance of a public employee as allowed by RCW 42.30.110. 1G. The council will be in executive session for 30 minutes and will return at 7:22. All right.
Which one?
Yeah.
7:28.
7:28.
7:28.
Okay. So who do you call?
Regular meeting is called back to order. Does the council have any new items for discussion?
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Merry Christmas. We did attend the staff appreciation day today, and it was great to see everybody, and we spoke a little bit with 5 minutes notice, but I appreciated all staff and everything that they do, and also I wanted to say, and I didn't say that, I don't think there's one person I've talked to in the last 5 years that has ever complained to me about working here at the city, so that's a big deal too. So, all right. Anybody else have any items for discussion? This meeting is adjourned.
Well, can I say something?
Oh,
I want to thank Kathy
sure.
for introducing me to this and asking me to come up and one other time. And I'm sorry that I haven't done it a long time ago. Because they better understand how much you care, how hard you work, the time that you're giving, of yourselves to make sure that this town that I really love is going to be successful. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. You're welcome. No. Well, I still been in law on that.
Right,
I'm away anyway, so.
Yeah, she is.
right. Our next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, January 2nd, 2024 at 6 p.m. This meeting is adjourned at 7:30 p.m.